Okay, port knocking is when the crackers have installed some sort of software on the server or the compromised machine, and it's listening for a signal over a certain port. So then the cracker from outside sends a signal to that software that's waiting over the certain port and gets a response from it. That's called port knocking. Keystroke loggers, that's where your computer is recording everything that you're doing, and either it's saving it to a disk file on your computer or it's sending it to a remote server out there in cyberspace. Remote administrative tools, that's like remote access or some sort of actually, Windows has a lot of things built in that allow people to get in and use your computer. You just have to protect these. We have a VPN and remote desktop in the lab at ADT 116, which I use to get in and work. But it's all password protected, and we've got a firewall and all that kind of stuff. So if it wasn't, anybody can get in and use those things. Network scanners scan for available networks and probe the vulnerabilities that lie therein. Password crackers. We actually have a password cracker that we developed in-house, and I'm going to show you that right now. So there's a program called Crack Me Professional, and you can download this from grayhatplayground.com/crackmeprofessionalbeta.zip, or it might be crackmeprobeta.zip. I'll put it in the PowerPoint slides. And really all you have to do is hit the start button, and it will come up and crack the passwords that you might have. So the administrator is Carl the Stupid One, Fred is Otto, Sally is Cake, and that's really all you have to do. You don't even really have to be very good at this stuff. All you have to do is download the software and use it. Okay, I encourage you to download Crack Me Professional from grayhatplayground.com/crackmeprobeta.zip. And if you can go ahead and just unzip it, and it's in a directory, so make sure you keep the directory all together. And you actually have to run it in administrative mode, so go ahead and right click and run as administrator and just see if it works on your computer, and go ahead and give me feedback as you go. I will appreciate that. So what are bots? Well, they are unprotected computers that get infected with Trojans, and since the Trojans don't usually do anything, they go unnoticed for quite some time. They're dormant. So then these dormant Trojans can be activated by a remote system, which is known as a herder. So these systems are known as bots, and bots do all different things. They can pop up ads, they can attack other kinds of computers. I mean, they can really do, they can help crack passwords. Any number of things can be done by a bot. So what are symptoms of intrusions? Okay, well, sometimes you might have network security tools that you notice have been used and you didn't use them. You can tell a lot of times by their logs or by something else that might be a giveaway. A lot of times crackers will come in and use your own tools against you. A lot of times you'll see a lot of unsuccessful login attempts. If you're logging or auditing login attempts, you'll see many unsuccessful. There might be some weirdisms on the network, packet inconsistencies, and just things that just don't make any sense. Odd or unexpected behavior. Of course, maybe the most common odd or unexpected behavior is your home page gets changed, or all of a sudden your computer grinds to a halt just about, it's so slow. So what can you do? Well, you can disconnect from the network, but this is not very practical. You have to find a balance between usability and security. Total usability has no security, and total security has no usability. There's always a balance. Remember, computer security is a managed risk. You do need strong perimeter defenses, firewalls, and other technologies. You got to train, though. You got to keep yourself trained for the latest and greatest stuff that everybody's doing. Keep up with the current trends in network architecture. Take courses at training companies who specialize in security training. I'm not sure if we have any around this area, but they do exist in the Raleigh-Durham area. You can take advantage of a lot of online webinars. For instance, Cisco and Microsoft, they've got tons of them if you just search for them. So what are security policies? Well, those are the policies that you as a network admin are going to set for all the users who are on your network. You do want to implement a sane security policy, because an insane security policy that might keep you safe will really irritate everybody. You want to keep an eye on your security policy, though. Make sure it's doing its job and you don't have things that are not quite right. So you always want to monitor the effectiveness of your security policy. Your budget might affect your security policy. For instance, if your security policy calls for you installing a lot of really great zippy-whippy software to keep everybody safe, and your budget doesn't have the money in it, then you won't be able to do that. So here again, there's a balance between budget and security needs. You've got to take remote locations into account. For instance, I was telling you that I go into a lot of other networks using VPNs or remote desktop or PC Anywhere or something like that. Just make sure that you are watching those maybe even more closely. If you've got a hole, it's maybe not an unplugged hole, it's a planned hole, but you still have to be careful because you want the good guys in and not the bad guys. So then you also have to do a risk analysis. Okay, you've got to continually do a risk analysis on your own, and you should definitely consider seeking a third party to help you from time to time, because they're going to see things that you just haven't thought of. Okay, so you do vulnerability testing, and there are actually lots of tools that will help you do this. Nessus may be one of the most famous. Let's see, Retina has a really nice product. Okay, so you want to do audits, and most servers are capable of keeping audit logs. So even though you're auditing and you're keeping audit logs, sometimes you actually need to take a look at them and see if there's something going on. Recovery, you need to be able to recover once an attack has happened. This is something most people don't really think about. So have some sort of recovery plan. So what are the tools of your trade? We've talked about the tools of the hacker's trade, but you have tools too. Well, obviously firewalls. Firewalls are a really good investment. I just bought a Pix 501 the other day, and with shipping off of eBay, it was like $76. And actually, it's a very, very good firewall and does the job in most situations. Intrusion prevention systems, that's actually normally, it's all different, but the stuff that I can afford is actual software that lives within your network, and it's always looking for these preventions and is able to shut stuff down or take action if it detects any kind of an intrusion. Application firewalls, that's where essentially that's like a software-based firewall. Access control systems. So every resource on a network allows you to determine who has access to it and who doesn't. I mean, who can use a resource, a file, or a server, or a printer, or whatever. So you need to keep these updated and keep them so that not everybody has access to your family jewels. So you want to have some sort of unified threat management. You want to have some sort of multi-layered approach. And that's how they do Homeland Security. They have a multi-layered approach. And the math goes really up as far as how safe you keep yourself when you have this multi-layered approach.